I'm not sure how long I've spent trying to get my files organized from iCloud, Google Drive, OneDrive, desktop, and external hard drives. The other day, I was listening to some Jay Shetty podcast, and he was talking about like the real uses and benefits and personal growth related to um, Chat GPT. And I got the idea that I could try to solve one of my biggest problems, which, for the last 10 years, I could definitely say has been proving to people that I'm not lazy, I'm not stupid, I'm not difficult. I have a lot of files and folders and all kinds of different media across all kinds of different drives because they all get too full to capacity. And it's not because I don't understand folders. I'm actually quite organized. The problem is that I have millions upon millions of files. But when you're working across thousands, millions of images, projects, and archives, the systems people suggest tend to break because most people tend to do one thing, maybe two things. Most people have a different kind of idea of work-life balance. I like working. I just like to spend all my time working. So to me, uh, developing and building things is natural. And so I build a lot of things and I develop a lot of things. So this week, that has finally changed. I am addressing my drive and all of the folders and files in it that I'm not sure where things are sometimes or how to go about getting things. How do you get things from Google Photos onto your desktop, or how do you share things between different systems? How do I deal with multiples that aren't exactly the same? And sometimes there are important differences between these. So, the first step of this process is that I went to ChatGPT and I asked a question. I asked, can chat create folders and organization structure, including naming fire for my files, naming my files if I zip them and upload them here? I've struggled 10 years to unscramble things and I can't. Chat responded, yes, I can help you do exactly that. And more importantly, we can do it in a way that exactly ends this chaos. Let me be clear up front. Blah, blah, blah. Chat understands me. I'm not a failure. I'm stuck because file systems weren't designed for the kind of multidisciplinary, evolving creative work that I do. When I need a structure and meaning, not just folders. I can personally say that having folders has literally been the problem because they don't always meet up to the need of the entire holistic picture. The folders often are just about a temporary moment in time or a crisis, like a deadline. So this was the offer from chat. What I can do with your files, if you upload a zip, I can open and read the files, identify themes, e.g., which project, file types, images, writing, admin, etc., duplicates and near duplicates, propose a clean folder structure, rename files into something usable, create a master index, project timelines, what this is, summaries. This is huge for my kind of work, it tells me. What makes this different and why it will work this time? Instead of dumping things into folders like miscellaneous, archive, random, final underscore, zip underscore v3, literally I have such a thing, we'll build something like this. One, core projects, your intellectual world. Universal Fairy Tale, Ziggurat, Fable Type, workshops and teaching. Two, outputs. What leaves your hands? Website content, Instagram, social publications, video. 3, operations. Keeps your life functioning. Legal, funding, grants, partnerships, admin. 4, archive. Controlled, not chaotic. Old version, dated, not random, raw materials. The key shift, this is the breakthrough. Right now, your files are probably time-based, new, old, final, or emotion-based, important. Keep this. We're going to shift to meaning-based structure. What is this for? Where does it live long-term? What stage is it in? How we'll actually do this, the simple process. Step 1, you upload a zip. Don't ever think it messy is fine. Step 2, chat, analyze it. I'll come back with proposed structure, file grouping, renaming system. Step 3, you approve, adjust, we tweak until it feels right to you. Step 4, I generate final folder map, naming rules, optional, how to maintain this system so it never collapses again. Important note, I can't directly move files on your computer, but I can tell you exactly what to do step by step, or generate a script if you want automation, or create a drag and drop checklist system. Before you upload, quick question. Do you want this to be strict plus professional, grant ready, legal, clarity, creative plus flexible, hybrid? What I recommend for you. So obviously we're going with hybrid. If you're ready, upload the zip, even if it feels embarrassing or overwhelming. This is exactly the kind of situation chat, am very good at untangling. I then had the breakthrough of I have thousands, tens of thousands of images. Chat tells me that actually helps clarify the problem because what you're dealing with isn't files, it's an image archive system problem. And that's a different beast than normal folders. Let me be direct. If you try to organize tens of thousands of images manually or with basic folders, it will break again. I can tell you from experience that has happened dozens of times. What you need is a layered system, structure plus naming plus filtering. The right way to handle this scale, we don't treat images like documents. We build 3 layers. 1, master storage, never touched emotionally. Everything lives here. No decisions required, pure, stable. Example, image archive 2020, 2021, 22, 23. 2, we do intelligent naming. We move away from img blah 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 .jpg to 2023, July 12th, Ziggurat, Green Roof, Workshop, Berlin, _01.jpg. This means searchable, understandable, future-proof. I can help generate naming rules plus batch rename logic, chat tells me. Looking forward to getting to that stage, nowhere near it yet. 3, curated working titles. This is what you actually use. You don't organize everything, you create lightweight selections like current projects. And that's my 3 main: Universal Fairy Tale, Ziggurat, Fable Type. These are small, intentional, and stable. And the critical truth, which will save you years, you do not need to organize all 10,000 images. You need to stabilize the archive, make it searchable, only deeply organize what you actually use. What I can do for you, and this is where we began the real playing, because I'm not a tech person. I'm a researcher, visual artist, creative practitioner. If you upload even a sample 100 to 500 images, I can detect patterns, camera types, dates, subjects, design, naming system, folder structure, tagging logic, even without fancy software. I can also show you how to batch rename, how to avoid duplicates, how to build selects quickly. And an optional but powerful tool is we can also set you up with a very light system using tools like Adobe Lightroom, Bridge, or even just Finder, Explorer, and Windows, plus rules. The emotional reality and why you've been stuck. What you've been trying to do is make sense of everything at once. That is impossible at this scale. Instead, we do make the system make sense. Then let everything fall into place over time. Let's start in a way that won't overwhelm you. Choose one, upload a small zip, best option. Tell me what kinds of images they are, art, workshops, family documentation, and tell me how you wish you could find them. Or I can design a ready-to-use system for your exact projects. You're not behind, Chandra. You have just hit the limit of what ad hoc systems can handle. So the next step was I downloaded from my OneDrive, and then I was getting error messages that the file's too large. And so then Chad explained to me that that's completely normal. This isn't a you issue, it's the zip uploads here have size limits, and tens of thousands of images will exceed them easily. So instead of fighting that, we pivot to smarter intake strategy. Option one, small slice uploads, which is the best. This is creating zips with 100 to 300 images, ideally from one folder or one time period. This lets chat detect patterns and design my full system, and it gives me automation steps. I do not need to upload everything. Option two, screenshot my chaos. I'm not doing that to myself. Too stressful. Then option three, no upload. Design it for me. You just tell me what images you have. I went with option one. So the the next bit of a the next bit of the equation, I went over to Google to, let's see, what do we need to do? Google Takeout. So you go to google.takeout.com. Why is this not working? Why is that not working? Um, so back up Google Photos and Drive. Oh, not this evil beast of Yahoo again. I need to pause for a second and figure out this wee problem. Okay, so the next thing that you're going to want to do is to get to Google Takeout. Obviously, you want to do that a bit more gracefully than I did, but the gods of the internet were not on my side. Maybe they don't like that I'm protected behind a VPN wall. I don't know. So inside Google Takeout, you can make a couple of decisions about what you would like to back up. My first mistake was that although my primary concern are files in Photos and Google Photos and Google Drive, I went through and I saw all of these really interesting things that I thought would be useful to know about, like my arts and culture backups, etc. And I downloaded all of them, including my Google bookmarks. And the problem was that I got a lot of files at one time. I Let me see if I still have one of those that I can show you. Um, let's see. No, I had the good sense to delete it and not. Uh, so You're going to see in a second because I'm going to walk you through a bit of the exact process. So, what happens after you go through and up here at the top, you have the option of deselect all because to help you out, because you're going through 65 options, it's automatically selected everything. So you can select everything or you can go through one by one. Um, let's say, like, just to give an example, let me back up my Gmail account. What's useful about backing up my Gmail account at this moment where I am creating a file management system is that in the early days of my project, back in the early 2000s, it was common practice. It's still common practice to email images. But for example, when I got the original Kodachrome slides, Chardash mailed these files via my Gmail. It's also been a communication tool for receiving other options, other image and video options, and I just don't know where everything is. So the next step, we get to export once. For ChatGPT, it likes a 2 GB breakdown. I'm going to stick with that because maybe I do want Chat to analyze it, and it needs, 2 GB of data of emails could literally be 400 or 500 emails, or it could be just that it separates things into senders or whatever. So now we're going to click on having chosen that it's going to be a zip. This is going to be a one-off export, 2 GB. We're now going to create the export. And now we're in export progress. Google's creating a copy of data from mail. The process can take a long time, possibly hours or days to complete. You'll receive an email when your export is done. So now we're going to go over to this Google Takeout window. And here we see some of yesterday's work, which gives us a good starting point to get back into this downloading process. So yesterday, I had a bit of an error that I can walk you through, but it begins with this process of the download. So right now, my download of 157, almost 158 gigabytes comes as 75, nope, 80 pieces. And here in my Windows File Explorer in the Google Takeout window, you can see that I've downloaded 76 of these. In reality, I deleted the first 21. Might have a little problem here. Um, I told myself to stop working and I wound up continuing downloading for another hour or two last night. So I have to think about where this goes. But anyway, this is where the downloads are going. They're going into a folder inside my documents. My university account is connected to my OneDrive. And rather than having these go into downloads, because what happens when you have the files go into downloads is it separates them by date. And so what happened last night after midnight is it's starting to tell me that this file was worked on yesterday or the day before, which caused a great deal of confusion. And it also slows down the performance of your computer. And this is a very storage heavy process, dealing with 158 gigabytes zipped. So instead, with the help of chat, making a good decision, I organized a folder that's called archive underscore work. I put the underscore in front of archive because since this is my active, most important project at the moment, because in order to make my website and to create a complete chronological overview of myself as a professional artist, researcher, and educator, I need to go through the whole thing. So this is archive underscore work. When you open archive underscore work, you have this folder structure. Um, and so with Google Takeout, the Google downloads then go into this folder. So after the folder's downloaded, it's opened, it's extracted, and we will go into the sorted folder where I've already have two folders created. And since images are the most important thing at the moment, I think I'm going to have to create a command for videos as well. Ooh, I wonder if videos are going into the miscellaneous right now. So I have, let's see if there's any MP4s in here. Up, they are. Okay, I'm going to want to ask Chat to create a code for that because I do want the audio and the video files to all go together. So this is where the magic happens. And so now I'm going to walk you through the download process from the Google Takeouts that these are the ones from yesterday. So I'm going to begin not with this export summary, but with part one and download again because I previously downloaded it and unfortunately I deleted all of these. Okay, so here we have a download. I have to log back in. Google just wants to verify who you are because this is your data that you are downloading. And even when your password is stored, it just wants to double check that you are the person who's entitled to the actual access. So Google Takeout organizes this as takeout. This is a year, month, day, and some meta data organizational information in here, -001. We're going to click on Google Takeout, and that brings us to the folder inside the archives that I was just showing you. When you start downloading things, one of the things that you will notice happening is that, let's say you're downloading 5 things at a time. This 001 here, it's going to keep giving 001 if it doesn't understand that 02, 3, 4, and 5 are also downloading. And then it sometimes gets confused and it goes back to 001. So I've made the intentional choice that with each of these takeout files, I'm going to do Control A, highlight it, and just give it the actual corresponding number to the part in the Google Takeout. So here I'm downloading one. I would like to know how to get rid of this export summary because it's annoying. So we have part one downloading now. I'm going to download the first 10. Select all of that, name this 2. That's part 3. This is 3. Let's download part 4. Let's wait a moment. Takeout is highlight This is part 4. Save that. Scroll down. Part 6. I see a problem here. This is literally the new download. I need to just double check that. Okay, I've already managed to get myself confused. Dyslexia and dyspraxia are real. Never be angry at your neurodivergent friends. So yeah, this is part 6. That's reading. 7. And as I'm downloading, I'm becoming aware that some of the sequencing seems to be jumbled. Like you'll see with part 8 now, that here, part 8, it's actually showing up as 1-002 because some of the zips are larger than others, and File Explorer just starts giving it a download extension that doesn't necessarily correlate to the actual part number that you're downloading. So it can get a bit confusing. Just remind yourself of the number as you're going along. It might seem tedious that I'm saying this over and over again, but say the numbers out loud. It will help you navigate the complexities. So that was number 8. Now we're downloading part 9. And something's gone wrong because I'm clicking on part 10. Maybe it's the multitasking of speaking and conversing that's throwing me off a bit, but I'm going to pause for a second and double check. And the other thing that I'm concerned with is I'm not sure which files. So this is the Google Takeout request where all 64 came from and were downloaded. What I don't understand is why not all of these are saying download again. Last night I thought it was 75. Maybe the complete takeout order wasn't completed, but actually the takeout order should be completed when it sends you the message that your takeout's available. So I'm going to go back to my inbox. Okay, so this is the most recent request, the one that I just sent for my emails. And yes, it's me. I don't want to take the security checkup. I just want to close that window. And I want to go back to my inbox and just make sure. No, that was survey for YouTube earlier. So Google, user experience. This is the Google Takeout for Drive and Photos. And let's open this. And let's go to Takeout. Let's close this other Takeout window. Haven't figured out how to get rid of the export summary, but okay, we are indeed in the correct Takeout. Now I'm going to go back to ChatGPT and I'm going to pause record for a moment while I pull up the coding that I got for opening in the terminal. Okay, so what needs to happen next, and after like making the observation that audio and video files are going into miscellaneous, I need to ask Chat if it can generate a code for the terminal. Okay, so can you generate a code for the terminal which separates files into the images folder? It's taking its time here. The miss folder and creates two additional categories for audio and video. Currently separating into images and miss is a two-step process. I would like to change this so that I have one block of code to create all four subdivisions. Okay, let's see what it has to say. Yes, use this single script, one paste, one enter. So what this script does is it images all formats, video formats, audio, and miscellaneous, JSON, docs, etc. I'm also wondering, would it be a good idea at this point to separate out Word docs, PDF, and other file distinctions, because it will have to happen, and I do not want to have more steps than needed. I mean, I often find that chat offers you kind of the minimal because it's a computer. You have to talk to it. You have to be articulate about what it is that you want. And Yes, but only a small expansion, not everything at once. Best approach now, add documents, covers Word, PDF, etc. Keep everything else in miss. Okay. Okay. Is the newest code containing the docs editions. Is this the one to use? Just double checking. Think for the PowerShell, use this script. So what I'm seeing in here is images, video, audio, docs, miss, error action, resource. So this helps us create the recursive structure. And now you just click on that code to copy it in. And yes, use this version going forward just to be safe. Going to copy this now. Check mark indicates. And here we go. This now means that we have images, video, audio, documents, and everything else is missed. This is now your standard script. One paste, one step works for most batches. And because of the step-by-step nature of this, I have a TXT document that I'm pasting the code, the terminal PowerShell code into. And I'm going to copy this description here, what it includes for this miss bit, so that I always know what I'm talking about. I could go ahead and delete these up here, but what I'm going to do instead, because this was when images and miscellaneous were separated into two steps, I selected that text. Now Control X, I'm going to delete the space and bring it up here. And coming to the end of the power terminal code, I'm going to draw a line and paste this under there just so that I have it moving forward. Nothing deleted. After deleting all those files last night, which I needed to for space reasons, not keen to get back in that position again. So let us see. Yeah. Okay, so now we have the code. This means that you see these unconfirmed. This means that Google is currently downloading these unconfirmed with these 7-digit numbers. That's how it shows the zip files before they become what they've been saved as, which is in this instance, one is the only one at the moment. So, okay, what now? So we have our folder, and now I don't know what to do about this review. Apparently, I was deleting something, but because all of this matters, and it's going to happen to you as you organize your files, you are going to delete Facebook post 2023, okay, April 2023, and 30. Yeah, that's a lot of files, 3,400 something to just delete. Delete files or folders in OneDrive. Files, manage. Well, no. I'm gonna have to come back to that later. I'm just not gonna answer that question for now. So for now, what we can do is folder one is available. I need to note on a piece of paper that I really need to go through 1 through 32 of takeout for images, video, audio, docs, and miss. Gonna have to think about what to do with everything up until 32 now that that's there. Okay, let's just park that and let's open item one. And we're going to select extract all. This is basically just telling us that it's going into the same file, which is the Google Takeout, which is our download file, pre-sorting. And it's extracting. This is our progress bar. And it's telling us that there's 5,014 items compressed into this 2 gigabyte zip. Gonna take a little second for that to get up to snuff. And so Google Takeout that's the miscellaneous and the images, just to save space. Maybe I should put all of this together for now. Okay. So let's put this in order. Google Takeout is our first stop because that's what it's downloaded into. Then Images Master. We need a new window here and we need to create a new folder inside our archive work, inside sorted, where we have Images Master. We now need to add video underscore master. Let's try spelling that properly. Video underscore master. And now we want to add audio underscore master. And then we want to add documents underscore master. So that means we now have the 5 files. So audio, video, images, documents, and miscellaneous. And what I'm wondering is in miscellaneous, if I can use our new code here in the black section, open in terminal. And if I can apply that, you're about to paste text that contains multiple lines. If you paste this text into your shell, it may result in the unexpected execution of commands. Do you wish to continue? Clipboard contents preview. Images, miss. Okay, I'm going to back away from that. And maybe what I need to ask for in this instance is to ask chat if it can produce. I'm going to close this power window shell. And I think I'm going to ask chat to generate code minus miscellaneous and images. So let's go back to chat. Um, Oops, maybe we're finished here. Okay, so now we get down to business with this one. Um, okay, so we are inside, just to backtrack, this is part one. Here in the folder that looks like it has a zipper on it for zip. Just delete them. Okay, so how we know the distinction between what's been zipped and what's been extracted is once it's been extracted, you have the same file number, which is folder name, which is one, and it's a folder. It has no zipper across it. When it hasn't been extracted, you have a folder, same name, zipper. So now that we've extracted this, let's click on one. And the instructions for applying the PowerShell are you click on this black area inside the folder. And I guess it would be right click if you're using a mouse or two fingers if you're using the touchpad like I am. And we have the open in terminal. So we're opening in the terminal. And at the end, like here we can see this is my C drive. This is my folder, my OneDrive. And then this is the documents folder. And this is the sub folder of the underscore archive underscore work. And then behind this next forward slash is the Google Takeout. And the next distinction is one. So we're just going inside all the subfolder layers. You don't really have to check if you've done this properly, but just so you know. So there we are. We do Control V to paste our code. And I don't, got a problem. Huh. So maybe I clicked on the wrong area. Oh, Jesus. This is not correct. So I get it. Something about what I downloaded isn't right. So let's just go back to number 32. This would be yesterday's. Let's make a note of, I begin with 32. April 1, 2026. Okay, so we're going to extract all, two fingers on the touchpad or right click if you're using a mouse. Extract. Now we're opening this file up. This folder contains 1,895 items. We're extracting from the zipped 32 into a fresh folder named 32 in the same Google Takeout subfolder of archive work. So everything is contained unless you change something here where it says browse. It's unless you change something in the browse area, everything's going to come back right here. Let me think. I think I'm going to pause this for a moment and extract a few of these so that I can walk you through a few processes straight off before we stop for today. Tomorrow, we'll just come back to this point and we'll just continue opening and extracting. Um, and during this break, I'm also going to check because I don't like what I was just downloading. That was the complete archive, which was mistake number one from earlier. Um, okay. Okay, we're back in action. I've opened up file two. I am now going to extract file three, just so that we have that ready for us when we want, since it might need a couple of minutes. So here we are at three. There's a zipper on it, so we know that still exists, it's zipped. We're going to click extract all. We're not going to change, we're not going to browse for somewhere else to put it. We're just going to go directly to extract and extract. And now we see the progress bar is telling us that that is happening. And in the meanwhile, let's go back to folder one. Maybe I was too quick to judge. Huh, that's interesting. Let's, two should be next. Why is three next? Is that where my naming convention got fuzzy? Hmm. Okay, well, three. There's an unexpected error. Let's try again. Okay, or whatever this is. Let's just skip whatever that is. I'm not going to be bothered. So click on Takeout, open in Terminal. Let's try that code again. Again, we get a warning message. Okay, so we're going to have to report the problem. So I'm telling chat warning message when using code. Let's see if there's user error. Normal, this happens. Most likely warning, files already exist in destination, cannot create a file. What to do? Press A, press enter. Better fix so no warnings at all. Okay, I'm not sure I believe that. Use this version from now on. What changed? No prompts. So let's close this. Let's reduce this. Let's minimize it. And here we are back at three. Let's open in terminal. Let's paste. No warning this time, but a lot of dislike. Oh, there's a lot of that. Category info. Hmm. Okay, so now I need to tell chat, okay, no warning message this time, but pages of red text. Oops. I think I'm using a lot of CPU because it's not typing. Jesus. Can we stop that? Let's just close that. No warning message this time, but pages of red text. Endless pages. Sometimes you just have to stay with it because it can only do what it knows. And so you have to just continue being articulate. Okay, excessively long file names. Files are being moved multiple times. Scripts are reprocessing files it already moved. Fix, use this version instead. What this fixes, this skips files already moved, stops infinite loop, no red spam. Do this now. Control C, then paste new script. I already grabbed the script. Not sure why it's telling me that. I might have missed something. You always have to remember. Aha. Uh-huh, uh-huh. So it looks like it created my folders anyhow. Let's see. Audio is there. Okay, there's a lot of work going on here. Okay, we don't need a preview. Ah, okay. Still populating these. I see the blue um, refresh arrows spinning, but it looks like this one should be openable and it is empty. Okay, it happens. Documents, empty. Images, okay, not ready yet. Miscellaneous, empty. Video, empty. It happens. Sometimes it's just empty, but why the infinite red spam looping if, like chat says, that was about duplicates? It doesn't seem to be about duplicates in that instance, but it makes mistakes because it doesn't have the full information. It's difficult to copy code out of the terminal. So the idea that it's just making guesses based on probabilities. So I've clicked on two, and I'm going to extract all. I'm not going to touch the browsing information, just going to extract. There's not enough space on Windows. You need an additional 652 megabytes to copy these files. Okay, so I'm going to cancel that. And I think this is going to be a good stopping point for us tonight because now what I need to do is I need to clear up some space. I also need to go back to navigating the problem of feeling like those folders aren't quite right. It often happens for me because of my pattern recognition skills. I see a lot of patterns, um, and sometimes I just get overwhelmed when I'm seeing a lot of patterns. It felt like that first folder contained too many things, but those might have just been folder names from the nesting system. And in the end, huh, No, that was definitely something wrong because it shouldn't be containing contacts, archive, everything. The folder that I need should only contain folders for photos and miscellaneous. This is for all of Google Maps, Keep, Home App, Groups, Workspace, Marketplace, Store, Shopping. So this is from the first takeout that I generated, which I think I just need to delete because that's causing me some confusion. Um, it did extract the images though, so it's doing what it was meant to do. Um, but there's some serious limitations and problems to that. So tomorrow we'll do more of this. We are nowhere near done. And if you just want to follow along with me and learn how you can do this, you are gladly welcome. And we're going to work on this every day through video and a lot of me talking at the screen. But it's a good progress. Thanks for listening in. I'm Chandra. Nice to meet you.